Have you ever wondered if you were in a war in a past lifetime? I've had some people have memories of being in battles multiple times in past lifetimes. Today I have a few examples of those. Hi, I'm Karen Kubicko, and today we're going to talk about some past life memories people have had in a war type situation. In the first example, I had a man come to me for a past life regression. He happened to just randomly mention that his one shoulder really bothered him quite a bit, and they never could figure out why in this current lifetime. I took him into a past life regression, and he remembered being a soldier in the Battle of the Bulge in Belgium in 1945. And in that past life experience, he remembered being shot and hurt very badly in his shoulder. And so it was really interesting that in this current lifetime, he was having issues with his shoulder. And in that past lifetime, he actually had died from having an injury to his shoulder. So at that point, then we released any kind of trauma that might have been stored in the energy of his shoulder, and to release that so that he could be free to have movement in his shoulders from any of that trauma that might have been stored there from that past lifetime. So remember to hit that like button and subscribe. And if you have any questions, please leave them in the comments. I had a female come to me. She just wanted to know what past life regression was all about. She's retired and was just learning more about the topic. She went back into a past lifetime where it was the Second World War, and she was over in France. She was a male in that past lifetime. And what was interesting is that while she was not, in a sense, in the military in that past lifetime, she definitely was working for someone in that sense, because they showed her that she was secretly stealing guns and ammunition back then so she could help the French fight in that particular war. So it was kind of interesting because she was kind of in the military, but she was not. So what came through for her was that sense of confidence and the ability to really think quickly back in that time period during the warring times, because it would have been like a very, it feels like not so easy situation to go about doing all that. So it gave her a real sense of purpose and confidence that she could bring forward into this current lifetime. I had a male come to me for a past life regression. We had no idea what was going to come up. He was just looking to find out more information on whatever would be helpful to him in some kind of way. Again, this gentleman went to a situation that was happening during the Second World War. His memory from that experience is he's walking off the boat. He's standing there with a group of other folks in Normandy and exiting the boat. And on his way, while he and this other large group of men are exiting this ramp situation on the boat to go into the water to go to the shore, all of a sudden, he says to me during the regression, someone just grabbed my soul out of my body. And I was like, oh, so tell me more, what's happening, and he started describing his spirit guide standing next to him. And his spirit guide was helping him to, in a sense, jump out of his physical body so that on a spirit level, he did not have to experience the pain, because what was happening is that his death was going to happen immediately and his body was shot, where his spirit part of him did not have to experience any of that pain and suffering. So his spirit guide was able to pull his spirit out so that she helped him to prevent any kind of trauma of that shot occurring that would residually affect him in some type of way. So, but what was really interesting is what happened next. He was in spirit wandering around this, just feels like a carnage. The beach was filled with all these people who had passed because of this it was an invasion of Normandy, I think is what they call it in the history books. Because of this battle, there was a whole lot of people who passed. And so he's wandering in spirit, watching how the Red Cross people were helping the people who were wounded. And so he was kind of like watching and feeling how much care and love that they had or were able to give at that time. He was a young man in that lifetime, and he was able to see the compassion. Even though it was a war situation, he had in that past lifetime felt like war and all the trauma of it and everything. So him being able to be shown there is still compassion being shown, that was an important lesson for him. He also was able to understand that if there is a trauma situation upon passing, because in this current lifetime he's known people to have died tragically, his spirit guide was trying to show him also that clearly if your death is imminent, where pain and suffering is going to occur, you have that opportunity to step out of your physical body so you do not have to experience any of that pain and suffering. That also goes to show, too, that's for anyone. You know, that's why people have these near-death experiences, because if you are going to be in a car wreck or something like that and you step out of your physical body, you're not experiencing that pain of being hit around and whatever is happening when you're going through a car wreck example, you know, or if in his example, the pain and trauma of being shot was just something he didn't experience. Know that if you know of anyone who's died traumatically, that their spirit guide was there for them, or on some level, their energy, their spirit part of them has jumped out of their physical body and they did not feel the impact. They did not have to go through that suffering. No different than if somebody is unconscious. They are stepped out of their body at that time, and then when they reawaken and come to consciousness, then they're back in their physical body. So while they're unconscious and maybe had some trauma occur to them, they're not feeling that and experiencing that. Hopefully that gives you some kind of understanding and guidance today on that specific thing, because it can be something people aren't sure about in general. What happens? Are they okay? You know, especially if they've gone through some kind of trauma situation. And stay to the end for a link to a guided meditation with your council member spirit guide to help you understand more about your life path. Lots of love and light to you.